Welcome back, folks. We are going to be looking at plumage differences in bald eagles. When people mention bald eagles, typically the classic adult bald eagle is what comes to mind. The white head, the white tail, that fierce, majestic looking creature that we all know. But it takes quite a while for that bald eagle to achieve that look. They don't always look that way. Young bald eagles do not have the white head and tail. They have dark plumage with quite a bit of white mottling on them. Very bright yellow feet, but they haven't gotten the yellow beak and the yellow eyes yet. That is going to take 5 years. But how long does it take for an eaglet chick to grow to full size? Let's take a look at this nest from the beginning this year. This was the very first look that I got of the eaglets from this year's clutch. 2 eaglets, May 2nd, roughly 7 and 5 days old at this point. Their hatch dates were 4/28, April 28, and 4/26, April 26. So now we'll jump ahead to May 7th. Both of our adult eagles are working very hard to keep these two fed. They can gain an average of 150 grams or roughly 5 ounces per day. At this point, they're 13 and 11 days old. They're covered with a thick, fluffy white down that keeps them nice and warm. Food is in demand because these little ones are going to be growing so rapidly. Here we are 1 week later, May 13th. We can already see that the light gray fluffy down is being replaced by more of a gray woolly down, much, much thicker. We can just see the beginning of their feather quills starting to pop out at the tips of their wings. 3 days later, on May 16th, not a lot of difference from our last visit, in their plumage at least, but they are definitely getting much more mobile in the nest, and there's starting to be a little bit of pest to Mom. Here comes Dad with yet another black squirrel. Mom follows him right in. Although the preferred diet of the bald eagle is fish, they are certainly not above picking up an easy meal on the side of the road. The bald eagles co-parent very, very well, but let's just say Mom is a little more talons on than Dad is. Occasionally we get visitors. There were a few days this year when the orioles were just mobbing poor Mom, and I did post a video of that. I'll post a link to it down below. So we're now at May 26th, 1 month old. Feathers are beginning to emerge. Other than on their body and on their backs, that gray woolly down has all but disappeared. It's now a brown, thick fluff. All of those quills that you see at the end of their wings are all holding new feathers just waiting to emerge. Note the plumage on this chick, and now the plumage on the chick that is in front of us, closest to us in the nest. The difference in the age is only a couple of days between these two chicks, but here the plumage difference is very obvious. In another couple of weeks, using this to tell them apart just won't be an option anymore. How about a little verification that these two are eating well? Look at the crop on this kid. I did mention how the bald eagle's preferred diet is fish. The bald eagles chose this spot for their nest, and it's located right next to a trophy fishing area. And Mom and Dad both take advantage of that fact on a regular basis. Here Mom's bringing in a nice trout for the kids. As we close out May and move into June, You can really see that these eagles are starting to grow rapidly. The daily changes are exponential. At this point, they're entering their 6th week, roughly 42 and 40 days old. They reach full size in 45 days. It's hard to imagine, but this is the fastest growing bird in North America. It comes out of an egg about the size of a tennis ball, and in 45 days they're full grown. From an egg to a full-grown eagle in 45 days. I'd gotten a little distracted, so I was away for a couple of days, but here we are on June 13th. The eaglets are approximately 7 weeks old, and they have reached their full size. Meal times are definitely getting more challenging. The older, larger eaglet is commanding the greatest majority of the food and has for most of this time. It's been very reassuring to watch both of these adults take care of these chicks. They have gone out of their way to make sure that both chicks are receiving food. Someone asked me how I differentiate between the adult eagles. The bird that is on the perch right now is the female, and she has what I refer to as mama's brooch, which is a little notch in her white collar. She's about 20% larger than her mate, which is common in most raptors. The eaglets will be in the nest for another 30 days or so, 20 to 30 days, before they take their first flight. They're fully grown at this point, but they're going to be working on their wing strength. They'll be up in the nest beating their wings. The next stage of the process will be branching. That's when they get out on different branches in the nest tree, try and find their way around and determine which way they're going to go when they take that first flight. The last couple of years, these two perches have been launch pads for the eaglets. We'll have to see if it plays out the same way again this year. As I'm creating this video, I'm really happy to say that the eaglets both are doing well. They've got a couple of weeks of flying under their belts, if they had belts, and mom and dad are still bringing food to them occasionally. I hope you've enjoyed this look into the development of the eaglets, starting off as little feathered floof balls and right up to fully developed birds. So now that the eaglets have taken to the skies, what further development will we see? Fortunately, I have photos that take us from the stage of an immature all the way up to a fully developed adult in full, glorious, majestic adult plumage. In July of 2017, I was with Connecticut DEEP biologists, and we banded 2 baby eagles. At almost 1 year old, this bird was photographed on the Hudson River in New York. 2.5 years old, he was photographed just a few miles from his nest in Southbury, Connecticut, and at 5.5 years old, as a fully mature adult bald eagle, he was photographed in Dobbs Ferry, New York. Well, that wraps up this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank all of my new subscribers, all the great comments that you folks have been leaving. Please stay tuned, there's more to come.